A 15-year-old boy walks into a Tokyo auto repair shop in 1922, hoping to learn how to fix cars. The owner takes one look at him and hands him a baby instead. For months, his only job is babysitting the boss's son while he watches other men work on the engines he came there to learn. No pay, no tools, no respect. Most people would have walked out. He didn't, and 40 years later, that same boy would be racing Formula One cars against the world's biggest automakers while running the largest motorcycle company on the planet. This is how Soichiro Honda went from carrying someone else's kid on his back to building a multi-billion-dollar empire with his own name on it. Soichiro was born in 1906 in a poor village at the foot of Mount Fuji. His father was a blacksmith who also fixed bicycles on the side. His mother was a weaver. Life was hard. Soichiro lost 5 siblings to illness growing up. At age 8, he heard a strange rumble in the street and chased down its source, a Ford Model T. He was mesmerized. He didn't even understand why he was running after it. He just had to see it. That obsession with machines never left him. He helped his father fix bicycles and farm equipment, but he hated school. So much that he forged his family's stamp on bad report cards so his father wouldn't have to sign them. When he got caught, his father made him kneel for an entire day without lunch. In 1922, Soichiro saw an ad for a Tokyo auto shop called Art Shokai. He wrote them a letter asking for a job, got a positive reply, dropped out of school, and left home at 15 to chase his dream. When he arrived, the owner, Yuzo Sakakibara, had him babysit his kid instead of touching a single engine. Soichiro stayed only because he was too ashamed to go home a failure. Eventually, as the shop got busier, Sakakibara pulled him in to help with real repairs. Soichiro proved himself and climbed from menial tasks to trusted mechanic, and Sakakibara began teaching him the mechanics and the business side of the trade. Around this time, Sakakibara started building racing cars, and Soichiro helped. First the Art Daimler, then the Curtiss, built from a second-hand aircraft engine bolted onto an old car chassis. In 1924, that car won Japan's 5th motorcar championship, with 17-year-old Soichiro riding along as engineer. From that day, racing became his obsession. In 1926, he was drafted for military service but was disqualified. He was colorblind, so he kept working at Art Shokai. By 1928, at just 21, he was sent to run a new branch in Hamamatsu. It struggled at first because no one trusted a shop run by someone so young, but he pushed through, and within a few years it had grown to a staff of 30. Soichiro wasn't just a mechanic, he was a fierce racing driver too. He built the Hamamatsu race car and set a speed record that stood for 20 years. But in 1936 he crashed badly, nearly dying, breaking his arm and dislocating his shoulder. He raced again 4 months later, but after pressure from his wife and father, he gave up racing for good. By the mid-1930s, Soichiro wanted more than repair work. He wanted to manufacture car parts. When his shareholders refused to back the idea, he started his own company to build piston rings, Tokai Siki. It nearly broke him. He worked days at the repair shop and nights on pistons, losing so much weight he looked unrecognizable. After repeated failures, he even enrolled part-time at a technical institute to learn metallurgy properly. In 1939, he finally cracked it. He quit Art Shokai to go all in on piston manufacturing. But when Toyota tested his first batch, only 3 of 50 passed. Instead of quitting, he spent years touring steel plants and universities to master the craft. It paid off, orders poured in, and his company grew to around 2,000 employees. Then World War II hit. His factory was placed under military control, Toyota took a 45% stake, and Soichiro was demoted from president to senior managing director. Workers were drafted, production collapsed, and in 1944 his factory took a direct bomb hit. A massive earthquake destroyed another plant in 1945. When Japan surrendered, Soichiro had lost almost everything. He sold what remained to Toyota and stepped away, unsure what came next. Post-war Japan was in economic ruin. Food, fuel, and basic goods were scarce. Soichiro couldn't even find gas to drive to the market. Then he came across a surplus military generator engine and had an idea. strap a small engine onto a bicycle. It wasn't a new concept, but Japan desperately needed cheap transportation. In 1946, he founded the Honda Technical Research Institute with just 12 men and started building motorized bikes from scavenged parts. They sold instantly. When he ran out of used engines, he designed his own, the Type A engine, completed in 1947, the first machine to ever carry the Honda name. In 1948, he founded the Honda Motor Company. Needing capital, he wrote to all 18,000 bicycle shops in Japan pitching his vision. 3,000 responded with funding. In 1949, Honda released its first full motorcycle, the Model D, but it was bulky and sold poorly. So Soichiro stripped it down, and after 3 years of refinement, built the Super Cub, an instant hit that won the Emperor's Prize. Around this time, investor Takeo Fujisawa joined as a partner, bringing the financial and marketing sense that complemented Soichiro's engineering obsession. When the Super Cub reached the US in 1958 at just $295, a quarter of the price of American bikes, it outsold both Triumph and Harley-Davidson. All the while, Soichiro kept racing at the center of his strategy, studying competitors around the world and relentlessly chasing their benchmarks. Honda went from a humiliating debut at its first international race in 1954 to winning the manufacturer's prize at the 1959 Isle of Man TT, the world's biggest motorcycle race, and again 2 years later. By the 1960s, Honda was the largest motorcycle manufacturer on Earth, having built 10 million bikes by 1968. But Soichiro had a bigger dream, the one sparked by that Ford Model T when he was 8, making cars. Despite warnings that the market was already crowded with Toyota and Nissan, he pushed ahead. Honda's first car, the T360 mini truck, launched in 1963, followed by the S500 sports car. Honda even entered Formula One in 1964 and won its first Grand Prix just a year later. Still, none of it translated into real success in the consumer car market until the Honda Civic launched in 1972. The Civic arrived right as the 1970s oil crisis hit, and Honda's new CVCC engine technology let drivers go farther on less fuel, while also cutting harmful emissions, ahead of most competitors. It made Honda a serious player in the US and Europe. Then came the Honda Accord, which broadened from hatchback to sedan and became one of the best-selling cars in automotive history, thanks to its efficiency, comfort, and space. By the early 1980s, Honda was Japan's third-largest car maker. By the end of the decade, it was the third-largest car company in the world. Soichiro Honda retired in 1973 and passed away on August 5, 1991. Reflecting on his life, he once said that looking back, he felt his work was full of mistakes and blunders, but he was proud of what he'd built because his failures never repeated themselves. He always learned and moved forward. Today, Honda has grown far beyond cars and motorcycles into jets, boat engines, power equipment, and robotics. The legacy of one poor boy from a village at the foot of Mount Fuji, who once chased a car down the street just to see how it moved. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more. I've got plenty more stories like this one coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.